Hi guys, you're so welcome to another podcast here on this channel Narcon, where we deal with all things in relation to narcissists and understanding what we've been through in relationships with them. And what's come to light recently, and when things are repeated, in comments or in coaching, I generally make podcasts about them because people would like answers or would like insights into why something has happened with a narcissist, why they're reacting in such a way that is inexplicable to the normal human being. And it's good to find out, to get some insight into what's been going on and what's going on, because otherwise you ruminate more and you stay stuck in a place that you don't belong. You stay stuck in the past or in the present with a narcissist, and it's very difficult to move forward with clarity or without symptoms of post-traumatic stress where you actually can't make your mind up about things. So today what's come up, and I've actually taken one of the comments, and we're going to include that in the podcast. This person is asking questions and is bewildered as to why this particular ex-narcissist of theirs is acting in such an abusive, childlike, in the worst possible sense, immature, callous, contradictory manner. So the way I'm going to approach this is how narcissists actually leave their targets or victims, or how a relationship with a narcissist ends. And that can be even you ending the relationship with the narcissist. It's not necessarily where the narcissist walks away, but it's how they deal with you in the aftermath. The relationship itself can be very confusing, and wondering why what happened in the relationship itself can take up a hell of a lot of contemplative time that could be better spent doing something else for yourself in your life after the relationship has ended. But the peculiar way that narcissists then either interact with you or don't interact with you after the relationship has ended, which bears no resemblance to how a normal, healthy human being would leave a relationship that has meant something to them, leave a person they once respected, even if they don't now. They would have some feelings of treating the person with a level of dignity and extricating both of you in a good way, or in as best a way as possible in a hurtful situation. But narcissists not only don't do that, they go out of their way to make the aftermath of a relationship as painful as possible. And we have covered that in some podcasts, where we say the narcissist, why do narcissists make the discard so cruel? And you can certainly check that out in relation to the discard playlist. But for the purposes of looking at this aspect of how they extricate themselves or how they treat you after a relationship, I'm going to take 2 podcasts to go over this. And the ways we're going to look at, sorry, I was just checking my notes there. So how do narcissists typically treat their ex-partner post-relationship or post-discard? And that's you discarding them or they discarding you. And I'm going to look at 2 main ways, generalized in relation to how narcissists do this. The first way is when the relationship is broken down, it's over and it looks irredeemable. This is when the narcissist is totally in your face. They are literally nearly running by your window in your living room, pushing the new supply up. Look, see. And they're bothering you and they're causing you a lot of problems, and they won't seem to leave you alone. Some narcissists even appear to be stalking you, and you just cannot understand what the heck is going on in this situation. So that's the first podcast, and we're going to do that today. That's the in your face after the relationship narcissist. And the next podcast after that is going to be the out of your face narcissist, where the narcissist disappears as if they never walked on God's earth. They are gone, into space and you don't know any information about them, and they try to keep as low profile as possible, and they have you blocked everywhere, and they are gone from 100 in the relationship to 0 out of it. So let's get into the first one. And I would like to start, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the person's comments who is bewildered about why a narcissist is doing this to him. Sometimes it can be situational and circumstantial, where the narcissist, as in this comment, is actually in the same workplace, which is an unfortunate scenario. But so that's this particular in-your-face discard or treatment post-discard is actually partly situational, but the behaviour is an in-your-face discard. It's just convenient that the narcissist has access to their former target on a daily basis. And then we will get into the reasons that they would actually do this, in the hope that if you look at the reasons and look at the motivations for their crazy, cruel, callous, ridiculous behaviour, you may be able to be more at peace with what they're doing and move on from this craziness a little bit quicker, which is always helpful on our healing journey. So first of all, the comment about what this person is going through with the in-your-face post-discard treatment. And then we will give the reasons why this is going on, because this person wants to know what on earth is going on in this person's head and why are they doing it. So I hope this is helpful. Okay, the comment isn't long, but this is what the person's experiencing. The narcissist I dealt with is going out of her way to irritate me. I ignore her with complete no contact, but she's doing all she can to get me to interact with her. Her new tactic is flirting with a former friend at work, right in front of me, trying to be loud about stuff going on in her new living situation and dehumanizing me by not saying my name if she needs something. I continue to ignore her. I cut off my coworker, and I'm trying to find a way to limit the amount of time I see her. She is also holding my mail hostage. That's actually illegal, just for a little point of interest there. She's also holding my mail hostage just to get a reaction out of me. And yes, indeed, that is to get a reaction out of you. I would ensure as quickly as possible that you redirect your mail somewhere else. And I would say goodbye to the mail that she's withholding unless it's extremely important, or reporting it, but that is a reaction. So that's something you need to think about. I don't understand why she's doing all this when she cheated, lied, flirts with everyone for attention, moved out, and is living her best life, in inverted commas, but tries to get under myself like a menacing child. If she's so happy with herself, then why all the focus on me? What did I do? I'm just praying that God turns this situation around. I need another win. Okay. I don't know if you've heard this expression, and then we get into the reasons that I would believe narcissists do this type of in-your-face stuff, post-discard. If you've ever heard the expression, the lady doth protest too much. This can also be transferred to the gentleman doth protest too much. And that basically means if somebody is so happy, why do they have to protest that they're so happy? Why have they got the time or the need to try and prove that they're so happy? In my opinion, happy people are off being happy. They don't have time to go around explaining to people, I'm so happy. I think you get the picture. So if there's somebody doing that with you, generally they're not that happy. Right, the reasons why this crazy carry on is going on. I have number one, they need to be the dumper, not the dumpee in a relationship. And this goes particularly for intimate relationships, but covers every type of relationship you'll come across with a narcissist. And this originates from their need to be superior, from their need to always win in a situation. So even if it's you that was gravitating towards leaving the narcissist and the narcissist suddenly copped on to this, they will turn things very quickly around and be the one to dump you, even if that is totally not the case, or if they beat you to the finishing line, just as you're about to say, I'm leaving, I can't take this anymore, I'm out of here. It is their narcissism takes over, and they have to prove to themselves, but also to anyone else that would matter in any way, that they were the one that dumped you and that they're the superior being. So I guess that's what's going on with your ex-narcissist in the workplace. She's basically beating her brow bone and saying, I'm the winner, and that's all there is to it. The second reason is they totally lack empathy. So if you get a person who actually doesn't care, but the only thing that does matter to them, not care, is that they're superior winner in all things, and therefore they are going to survive in this life. They exist and they're powerful. Remember, that's the difference between a narcissist and a normal human being who reaches a state of joy and happiness in a very different way by building and helping and creating and feeling worthwhile. The narcissist is a totally different, emotionally regulated being. So they lack empathy. They don't actually care. They don't care about relationships. They don't have loving feelings. But what they do care about is how they're perceived and how they perceive themselves. It's all very shallow. So the lack of empathy and the feeling of being entitled to treat people whatever way they want, because the conscience level just isn't there. So, when you wonder, how can they do that? How on earth's name can they do that? You cannot think from your own human empathic point of view, because you will never come up with an answer. It's about understanding that this is from a whole different motivation and a whole different type of human being that these actions are coming into play. So if you remember their needs and their priorities, they need to feel superior, and they need to feel, they don't need to feel entitled. They feel entitled because of their superiority. It follows and flows. Number 3, why they do the in-your-face discard is they feel empowered by putting themselves in the powerful position, and they enjoy your distress. They enjoy your distress on a comparative level to how distressed you are. Because if you're 60% distressed on an emotive level, then they're 60% empowered, because if they've been able to cause your distress, it means you believe in the false mask that they are putting up to the world as being a person of value, of being someone you actually care about. And if you care about them, you are regulating the mask into its existence. Remember, when the narcissist isn't getting supply and the mask isn't turned on, I call it kind of powered up, there is nobody there. There's no one at home except this kind of life force that cannot generate its own happiness and is literally like flat on the floor, collapsed. Without a life force, it's so hard for us to actually understand. But the level at which they can cause an emotion in you, be it positive or negative, is the level of life they're experiencing. And if you want to call it enjoyment, It's a type of enjoyment that comes from feeling empowered. It's based on hate, rage, jealousy, anger, all the negative emotions, but it keeps them in a state where they don't have to look inside, and they don't have to feel empty, and they don't have to feel the entity that's gnawing at them inside, that's causing them a lot of distress. And I'm not saying this without compassion. I totally disrespect and am abhorred by the behaviours of narcissists. And I'm all for the victims of narcissists in overcoming the destruction that they've been through. But it doesn't mean that I wouldn't have compassion for these people that have not either chosen or have not the power to have a fulfilled and beautiful life. However, we will leave that there. This podcast is about you understanding why the narcissist is acting in the crazy daisy ways they are acting. So number 4, particularly in this person's scenario and case, narcissists love a drama bomb. They love dropping the drama bomb. So if they go away and leave you be, and there's no interaction, they're missing out on a huge amount of narcissistic supply, at least approximate supply. And we'll get into the other area of that tomorrow, or the next time we do the other podcast, in relation to when they disappear. But this is a prime opportunity for the narcissist to try and trigger you over and over again, so that they can create a big drama, and a workplace drama would be even more beneficial to them. Because once there's chaos and a lot of high emotions, the narcissist is like a general in the emotional war. That is where they win. That is where they're best. They cannot stand it if they are unable to trigger you. They feel totally disempowered. They feel they don't exist. They are nearly in a collapsed state inside, and they get worse and worse. And that's why this person may not understand, my gosh, she's done this for the last week or two, and it's escalating. It's not de-escalating because I'm stepping away from it. I'm staying out of contact. That's the best thing you can do. But the narcissist will up their game and will escalate the drama in the situation because the triggering of you is not working, and they're feeling impotent. They're feeling a certain level of distress because you essentially are taking the power, even though it may not feel like that to you. That is the ideal way to, I suppose, as the person says in the comment, obtain another win by getting away from the narcissist. But you're certainly surviving the situation and saving yourself from God knows what that narcissist would plan. And once you became triggered, what they would do in a situation like that. And I'll get into that in the next few points. So it creates a drama if their triggering of you works. Number 8, if their triggering of you works, they will choose in that situation to damage your credibility going forward. So it's actually, in a way, it's an offensive move to protect and defend themselves from any possible truth you may spread about them or the situation, either in the present or in the near future. So it's a damage limitation movement by the narcissist, even though that seems very odd from your point of view when they're actually going on the attack of you. What they're basically doing is hiding behind a kind of a dog whistling technique where they're poking and poking at you persistently and consistently. And that is a feature of a narcissist. Where it's not picked up by other people, it can be quite subtle, quite passive aggressive, quite dog whistling in nature, that it goes under the radar of other people, but it comes very much in your radar in full force each time it happens, and the narcissist is hoping for you to cause a drama and make a show of yourself and shout and scream and pull your hair out and attack the narcissist vocally, loudly in public, so that the narcissist can then point the finger and say, I told you, look, that's crazy person, you know, etc., unstable. Look what I had to put up with. And it also serves, particularly in the workplace, if there is someone the narcissist is interested in, it makes, I think I have that down as the next point, it makes the narcissist feel more valuable, and it does a great PR job on other people thinking that the narcissist is attractive and valuable, because you yourself or whoever they're targeting is so interested in them and is so seemingly besotted and obsessed with them, notwithstanding the narcissist has engendered and caused this situation. So it ups their value as being, you know, somebody important. And with the new supply, if they have a new supply hanging around, it also, and in a workplace situation, it also gives them gives people the impression that they are a victim of their past. So it helps on their trajectory for sympathy from colleagues, sympathy from family, and big time sympathy from the new source of narcissistic supply, intimate partner or great coworker or best friend or whoever they're trying to create this illusion for, in order to change their supply source from you to the new person. It's all illusory, guys. It's all about creating impressions that are fake and false. And once you believe in them, or anybody believes in them, the narcissist mask is empowered and they're off again for a feed of new regulated supply and new emotional regulation. I'll finish on these other points. Number 9 is, if the narcissist is going around with all these shenanigans and, you know, poking you and poking other people and causing a lot of problems wherever they go and destructiveness and drama, it takes the focus off them having to introspect if you have actually tried to hold them accountable. And it occupies their minds in the best way possible for them, so that there is no chance of going behind that mask and taking the mask off and laying it down and saying, I want to be a better person. I've obviously messed up here. The only time the narcissist does that is as a manipulation to get something they want or to get somebody back that they want. And the mask is put right back on after they achieve their aim by actually saying, sorry, it doesn't happen often. Number 10 is to basically placate their boredom. They're going on with this rubbish and this maneuvering to placate their boredom. And I would call it to keep the entity that's driving them, the darkness inside them that needs to be fed, keep the entity enticed in the game that they're playing at this particular time, particularly if they're one of the central players in the game, and particularly if there's a lot of moves going on and counter moves, like in a chess game. They much prefer when there's action, distraction, chaos, drama, emotional manipulation, and distress and pain and excitement in general, because there's nothing else going on in there. There's nothing else going on in there. It's one movie after the other. You might call the narcissist's brain the next Netflix central computer. They are looking for a new series to sit down and watch interactively so that they can, like a game on a computer program. Number 10 is, and I guess this is the last one. I hope I've got those numbers right and I haven't left one out. Anyway, because they're sad and pathetic, because they're empty vessels, unfortunately. It's very distressing when they do sometimes show their potential, show what they could be capable of, if what the, you know, the good thing they do, and narcissists do good things. They have to, because if they were these bad, you know, malevolent people going around all the time, they would have no friends, they would have no family who supported them. And indeed, that's the way a lot of them end up. But they have to do something worthwhile. They have to provide value to people in order for people to attach to them and to believe in them and to see them, you know, to see some false good in them. And it is very sad when they do those things, that it's just a small part of their life, and the majority of their life is spent destructing other people and their relationships and taking the good away from the good they do by doing so much reckless stuff, even around the good deeds that they've done. It's sad, and it is good if you can, if you've reached the stage where you can have compassion. But it has to be from a distance emotionally, guys, because the way they're set up is to feed on you emotionally and to do you damage. So you have to use your discernment when you're dealing with narcissists and understand, and I hope this podcast has been of help, understand why they may be in your face after the discard, and sit back a while, you know, sit down in a chair, get yourself a cup of tea or whatever you want to take, but give yourself a bit of time to think about this without just feeling that painful emotion, and think, this person is not like any other person, or maybe you've met some like them, but this person is coming from a place where they don't have love and they don't see me as me. They just see me as an object on a computer screen that can be pushed around, that can be, you know, they can hide around the corner and shoot at me, and then they've 2 points up. It's an unreal situation. It's not redeemable in the sense that you or I would want to redeem it, in the sense that we can reestablish what we thought was the relationship with the narcissist and get to any good level, because that ability to love is not there with them. Your ability to love is still there. You have the ability to move forward and to make other good relationships. And you also have the ability to love them from a distance and feel sorry for them. And that's hard to do after they've really done the dirty on you. And again, the whole point of this podcast and me doing this here and Remy doing that over there is to understand the motivations and behaviour patterns of narcissists, so we can disassociate from the entanglement and enmeshment emotionally with them. And if we ever had a chance to help a narcissist, not that they're going to change, but to put some structure on the relationship that we may have even with a narcissist in our family, understanding how they operate, why they operate, and who they are, is the best way to gain that kind of structure, that healthy structure, and to allow ourselves not to be destroyed by the interaction with them, and to be able to live in our own purpose, understanding that narcissistic personality disorder does exist and how to recognize it going forward. That's it today, guys, from an unusually hot and sunny Ireland at the end of summer. We're definitely going to head for a swim. We may as well make hay while the sun shines. God bless everyone, and we will see you again very soon. Take care for now.